And we're back with another morning vibe check on a Wednesday. Let's get into it. So, I do these to kind of show you guys how I'm processing where I'm at when I check in with myself and see like vibrationally how I'm feeling and what I do to fix it, because every day is not just get up and go, Cindy's fucking the shit. That never happens. I mean, there's some days that I just, all the chemicals are on point and I've just gotten enough sleep and, nobody's in retrograde and the moon's like, not full, not new. It's just chilling and, nobody's angry at me. There's no weird energy going on and I can just wake up and just be like, man, life's good. But out of the other, 300 and however many days that they're in the year that I'm not like that, it's really important for me to adjust. And what I've noticed over the last 3 years is that practice of adjustment has made way for more and more days that I do either wake up that way or, basically just, even though I'm not waking up that way, I snap out of it really fast. I've learned to not attach to my thoughts. Now, right now, my thoughts are a little bit more heavy and they're a little bit more difficult to detach from just because of just this last month. And, I just feel like sometimes if there's a groove of thought process that you've done repeatedly over and over and over, and then, you had a very, a lighter groove over here that you had been creating and everything was fine, and then all of a sudden you got knocked off track, and then your thought process, your brain landed right back, and like now it's just there. Well, I mean, it's not as easy to get it back into this original this past groove that you had created. You kind of got to work again to get it back in there, and then when it gets in there, it'll start making it deeper and start making it harder, and then that way eventually, hopefully, you never fall back here. But if you do fall back here, it's easier to get over here. So point being is that right now it's been a little bit harder, and especially because I feel like chemically my body has just had a really hard time producing dopamine. I'm ADHD. It's just something that I struggle with. If you don't, good for you. I'm not going to get into the science and the, argument about it, but it's definitely something that I struggle with. I can definitely tell the difference of when I'm in a good place and I'm in a bad place. And one of those things that I do is try to detach from the thoughts that I'm having. Instead of just feeling the way that I feel, which this morning was, don't want to get up and do anything. I just don't have any desire to do anything. Do I want my company to be super successful? Yeah. But there's no dopamine to give me a reward system in its success. There's nothing driving me towards it as if it's going to like, be exciting if I win. There's nothing there. There's no reward system. So I don't have that chemical right now. So it's like, don't really care what I do. Nothing. It does not matter unless it's something that's just a very easy, accessible, dopamine hack, which is usually just grabbing my phone if I'm having obsessive negative thoughts, because at least that takes them away, and then I can just watch TV and zone out because I'm literally in nothing land. And that's where I usually am. So, for me, waking up this morning and just going like, oh, I just don't feel like doing any of this. I know all the things that I have to do, but there's no excitement. There's no motivation. There's nothing driving me towards the desire to want to do it. There's nothing. There's literally nothing. So I have to always go back and go, well, that has nothing to do with who you are as a person, because then imposter syndrome comes in and goes, why are you like this? Why can't you just do what you need to do? Because that's what's going to make you successful. You're never going to be capable. And then all of a sudden, like, I'm just up here just being a mess. Just being not good. It's just not good. It's unattractive. It's, it promotes nothing positive. It's just over here just being a mental muckery. And honestly, I hate that I'm that way, but I've had years of just being this like self-abusive mental person. And so it does take a lot. Yes, this is so weird, just opening yourself up like this and going like, hey, guess what? Yeah, that's me. So Anyways, what I wanted to talk a little bit about today is one of the things that I do is when I'm feeling like that, I try to detach from the fact that I'm feeling that way and understand that is just something within my system that's chemically off, and I can do things to do it. Now, the difference is all of it gets very overwhelming because I don't want to do anything, and everything seems very dull, and there's no desire to, even like, I don't even care if I go to the gym. I don't care what I look like. There's just no reward system there. So it's just about just doing that one thing. So there's a lot of different things that we could be doing for dopamine, and I would say either cold plunging or exercise is one of the things that you can immediately do that's going to help. Those two things. There are long-term things: increasing your B6, your vitamin D, reducing your saturated fats, your sugar, working on your gut health, getting pre and probiotics in there, just eating organic, not processed. All of those things are definite factors and contributors for the long term of how you can get better brain health and get more dopamine in there. We don't need to go into all of that right now. Maybe I will later. But one of the things for me is instantly I know if I cold plunge or if I go exercise or meditate or listen to music, or sometimes I will watch something or listen to something that's going to trigger motivation. So definitely podcasts, I'll listen to those and go on a walk, but I will just tell myself to just do one thing. Like, hey, I'm not really feeling this right now. Let me put on Gaia and put on something about personal development or self-help or anything like that. And usually at some point I will start getting lifted with that. I just will hear something that I need to hear that reminds me that I'm capable of doing it. And I start bringing back forth that belief system that triggers that release of dopamine. So, definitely things like that will work. So I just want you guys to understand that when you're feeling that kind of inability to be motivated to like get going and do the things, you might just be a little bit imbalanced chemically, and you might need to work on what's going on. There's and when all else fails, get you some caffeine, because that shit always works.